welcome back to my channel Life with Pete. In today's video we're going to make salsa. First of all, I'm going to pick some jalapenos that I grew this last summer. So we'll start the picking. Okay, I'm going to talk about these different varieties. This is a nacho. They use them for nachos very often. It's a bigger, darker green variety. You can see they're big jalapenos. Then we have these, they're smaller. They're turning red right now because I think they're pretty ripe already. And here too, you can see there's lots of them here. So look at that, they're loaded. Look at those beauties. Look at these beauties, they're big. Okay, now I'll show you the different varieties of jalapenos. This is a smaller kind. We'll use them for salsa. These are not nearly as spicy. These are milder, and these are pretty spicy too. As you can see, they start to turn reddish, so that usually is an indication that they get spicier. Okay, I'm going to start de-seeding some of these. I want to take some of the seeds out because they're pretty spicy this year. This is the heat here. The seeds that make it so hot. Even if you leave a few seeds, it's okay, but I don't want them too terribly hot because my family doesn't eat them when they're too hot. The one thing that I forgot to say is you can use gloves too. If you get these oils on your hands, that can get pretty hot sometimes. You get blisters if you're not used to heat on your fingers. So for my case, I'll not wear gloves, but a lot of people, I would recommend wearing gloves if you're not used to this. Now we cleaned them nicely and took most of the seeds out. Now we're ready to make salsa. Look beautiful. Look at this. These are the bell peppers that I just picked out of the garden. One is an orange color and there's 3 red ones. And these are the tomatoes. I'm going to use half and half, some big beef and also some Roma tomatoes. So we'll mix those two. That usually turns out to be a very good salsa. As you may see, I have two different, well, it's red jalapenos and green jalapenos. I want to try that this year. I think it'll be very good flavor-wise. I took most of the seeds out because they're pretty hot. That's why I figured I'd take the seeds out this time. Last year I didn't, and then they were fairly hot. So this way then at least everybody can have the salsa. Now what I'm going to do is chop these up. I don't want them too fine, but just pull some. The recipe calls for 2.5 cups, so we'll see if we're close. This is what it looks like if you do the red and the green, and it's about 3 cups. It calls for 2.5, we're going to do 3. That way, since we took the seeds out, it shouldn't be that much spicier, that little extra for the recipe. I also use 2 colors of bell peppers, red and green, and orange actually, 3 to be honest. So I want to do 3 colors to make it look prettier. The one thing that I want to mention is don't puree, just finely chop them, because if you do it too long then you puree them and then that's not good anymore. You want that chunkier salsa, at least that's what we prefer. This recipe calls for 5 cups, so we're right close to 5 cups of chopped bell peppers. Now I'm going to start chopping up the tomatoes. I should have maybe cut them a little bit smaller, but this will work. And again, you don't want to puree the tomatoes, you want to chop them. Look at that. Fresh tomatoes. It calls for 10 cups. I think we are right around 10 cups here. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. You bet. Next we're going to add the onion. We need 5 cups of chopped onion. I chop them up this way because a lot less tears this way. Chopping them up by hand, I find that gives teary eyes very often, especially if fresh onions like this out of the garden. Like I said earlier, you want about 5 cups, so I'm going to add a little more, one more onion, and that should be enough. Now I'm going to add some lime juice to the salsa, half a cup. I do lime and lemon. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, now we're adding the ingredients too. I'm going to add salt, paprika, chili flakes, garlic powder, cumin, oregano, pepper. And I did add some dry cilantro, and I'm going to also add some fresh cilantro. But like I say, this recipe, I can't really say the measurements because it's somebody else's recipe and I can't share it on YouTube. But look at this. Now we'll let it simmer for 20 minutes. You don't want to overcook it, but simmer it for 20 minutes. Here I have some chopped garlic, about 6 or 7 cloves, depending on the size. And I'll add some tomato paste as well, because tomato paste makes it taste better. Now it's cooking nicely, so we'll let it go for not quite as high. I'll turn the heat down a little bit and let it go for 20 minutes, and that's it. And you can put it in jars. Look at this beautiful salsa. Time to taste it. Alright, here's the finished product. I think it turned out really well. As you can see, look at the color. Nice, thick, chunky. I think it turned out very good. Thanks for watching Life at Pete. If you like what you see, please subscribe.